Letter 99 of Letters from Egypt by Lady Lucie Duff-Gordon. Read for LibriVox.org into the public domain. To Mrs. Austen, Luxor, March 6, 1867. Dearest Mother, the warm weather has set in, and I am already as much the better for it as usual. I had a slight attack, not nearly so bad as that at Soudan, but it lingered, and I kept my bed as a measure of precaution. Dear Yusuf was with me the evening I was attacked, and sat up all night to give me my medicine every hour. At the prayer of dawn, an hour and a half before sunrise, I heard his supplications for my life and health, and for you and all my family, and I thought of what I had lately read, how the Greeks massacred their own patriots because the Turks had shown them mercy, a display of temper which I hope will enlighten Western Christendom as to what the Muslims have to expect, if they, the Western Christians, help the Eastern Christians to get the upper hand. Yusuf was asking about a lady the other day who has turned Catholic. Poor thing, said he, the priests have drawn out her brains through her ears, no doubt, but never fear, her heart is good and her charity great, and God will not deal hardly with those who serve him with their hearts, though it is sad she should bow down before images. But look at thy slave Mabruk. Can he understand 100th part of the thoughts of thy mind? Nevertheless he loves thee, and obeys thee with pleasure and alacrity, and wilt thou punish him because he knows not all thy ways? And shall God, who is so much higher above us as thou art above thy slave, be less just than thou? I pinned him at once, and insisted on knowing the orthodox belief, but he quoted the Koran and the decisions of the Ulema to show that he stretched no point as far as Jews and Christians are concerned, and that even idolaters are not to be condemned by man. Yusuf wants me to write a short account of the faith from his dictation. Would anyone publish it? It annoys him terribly to hear the Muslims constantly accused of intolerance, and he is right, it is not true. They show their conviction that their faith is the best in the world with the same sort of naivete that I have seen in very innocent and ignorant Englishwomen, in fact, display a sort of religious conceit, but it is not often bitter or haineux, however much they are in earnest. I am going to write to Palgrave and ask him to let me send another boy or the money for Mabruk, who can't endure the notion of leaving me. Achmet, who was always hankering after the flesh pots of Alexandria, got some people belonging to the boats to promise to take him, and came home and picked a quarrel and departed. Poor little chap, the Sheykh el Beled put a spoke in his wheel by informing him he would be wanted for the Pasha's works, and must stay in his own place. Since he went, Mabruk has come out wonderfully and does his own work and Achmet's with the greatest satisfaction. He tells me he likes it best, he likes to be quiet. He just suits me and I him. It is humiliating to find how much more I am to the taste of savages than of the polite circles. The old lady of the Maon promised to come to me, but I would not let her leave her home, which would be quite an adventure to her. I knew she would be exclamatory and lament over me and say every minute, "Oh my liver, oh my eyes! The name of God upon thee, and never mind, tomorrow, please God, thou wilt be quite well," and so forth. People send me such odd dishes, some very good. Yusuf's wife packed 2 calves' feet tight in a little black earthen pot, with a seasoning of herbs, and baked it in the bread oven, and the result was excellent. Also she made me a sort of small macaroni, extremely good. Now too we can get milk again, and Omar makes kishta, alias clotted cream. Do send me a good edition of the Arabian Nights in Arabic, and I should much like to give Yusuf Lane's Arabic Dictionary. He is very anxious to have it. I can't read the Arabian Nights, but it is a favourite amusement to make one of the party read aloud. A stray copy of Kamar ez Zeman and Sit Boudurra went all around Luxor, and was much coveted for the village soirees, but its owner departed, and left us to mourn over the loss of his manuscripts. I must tell you a black standard of respectability, it is quite equal to the English one of the gig or the ham for breakfast. I was taking counsel with my friend Rachma, a negro, about Mabruk, and he urged me to buy him of Palgrave, because he saw that the lad really loved me. Moreover, said he, the boy is of a respectable family, for he told me his mother wore a cow's tail down to her heels, that and a girdle to which the tail is fastened, and a tiny leathern apron in front, constituted her whole wardrobe. And that she beat him well when he told lies or stole his neighbour's eggs. Poor woman! I wish this abominable slave trade had spared her and her boy. What folly it is to stop the Circassian slave trade, if it is stopped, and to leave this. The Circassians take their own children to market as a way of providing for them handsomely, and both boys and girls like being sold to the rich Turks, but the blacks and Abyssinians fight hard for their own liberty and that of their cubs. Mabrook swears that there were 2 Europeans in the party which attacked his village and killed he knew not how many, and carried him and others off. He was not stolen by Arabs, or by Barbaries like Hassan, but taken in a war from his home by the seaside, a place called Buki, and carried in a ship to Jeddah, and thence back to Kosseir and Kenna, where Palgrave bought him. I must say that once here the slaves are happy and well off, but the waste of life and the misery caused by the trade must be immense. The slaves are coming down the river by hundreds every week, and are very cheap, 12 to 20 pounds for a fine boy, and 9 pounds and upwards for a girl. I heard that the last Gelab offered a woman and a baby for anything anyone would give for them on the count of the trouble of the baby. By the by, Mabrook displays the negro talent for babies. Now that Ahmed is gone, who scolded them and drove them out, Mohammed's children, quite babies, are forever trotting after Mabou, as they pronounce his name, and he talks incessantly to them. It reminds me so of Janet and poor Hassan, but Mabrook is not like Hassan. He is one of the sons of Anak, and already as big and strong as a man, with the most prodigious chest and limbs. Don't be at all uneasy about me as to care. Omar knows exactly what to do, as he showed the other day when I was taken ill. I had shown him the medicines and given him instructions, so I had not even to speak, and if I were to be ill enough to want more help, Yussuf would always sit up alternate nights, but it is not necessary. Arabs make no grievance about broken rest. They don't go to bed properly, but lie down half dressed, and have a happy faculty of sleeping at odd times, and anyhow, which enables them to wait on one night and day, without distressing themselves as it distresses us. Thursday. A telegram has just come announcing that Janet will leave Cairo tomorrow in a steamer, and therefore be here, inshallah, this day week. I enclose a note from a Copt boy, which will amuse you. He is sapping in English, and I teach him whenever I am able. I am a special favourite with all the young lads. They must not talk much before grown men, so they come and sit on the floor round my feet, and ask questions and advice, and enjoy themselves amazingly. Hobbledehoyhood is very different here from what it is with us. They care earlier for the affairs of the grown-up world, and are more curious and more polished, but lack the fine animal gaiety of our boys. The girls are much more gamine than the boys, and more romping and joyous. It is very warm now. I fear Janet will sigh terribly over the heat. They have left their voyage too late for such as do not love the Shems el Kabir, the big sun, which has just begun. I who worship Amun-Ra love to feel him in his glory. It is long since I had any letters. I want so to hear how you all are. End of letter 99. Read by Sibella Denton. All LibriVox files are in the public domain. For more information, please visit LibriVox.org.